Hello again. I am taking full advantage of what energy I do have today because I don't know when it's going to come back into this sort of flow. I'm trying to offer a picture into the realities of my world in terms of these spinning discs that happen around this head and heart connection being like the center, the intersecting point of all the little Venn diagram circles that the spinning plates make. I made a video that I will try to remember to link everywhere I post this about becoming the process in which I became the memory keeper. It's one of those, I think it's part 3 of being poured into being. If you don't know what that is, go back and watch that video first and then come back here. As I have come to understand this in the course of the past 11 years, just over actually, I think, the experience itself in which I became the memory keeper was in October of 2014 when I was flopping around on the ground between Santa Rosa and Sonoma, California. I did not have a clear understanding about why this occurred to me then. And it's taken 11 years to wrap my head around it because there have been other experiences along the way that made things more obvious. Big picture is that being the memory keeper is being the vessel, the human body, for which the souls of medicine people are contained within. So when I say the memory keeper, it's not just these random nuggets of intellectual understanding and capacities to bring the medicine forward when it's necessary. Although, as I understand it, that is part of it. Random nuggets here and there. Somebody gets spiritually attacked in front of me and I instantaneously know how to address it, the attack itself, and from whom it originated. Mostly, though, what was poured into me is the souls of others. The souls of others that bring with these nuggets of information, context of physical spaces like Lake Mungo in Australia, to Persia. And I'm made to be this in the same way that one of my mentors, an old Ojib Cree named Pat Kennedy, was a memory keeper. In his day, he took back to Ojib and Cree peoples plant medicines, song, and the songs of relationships to plants, to energies, to animal energies, to soil, to water. And he also brought back the horse dance. He brought the horse dance back to peoples along what is now the US-Canadian border, from Vancouver straight to the Great Lakes. The reason why horse dance still exists in the continental United States is because Pat Kennedy brought it back. And there are those, particularly of the white persuasion, who can say, well, it's just a dance, it doesn't matter. What we're beginning to find out these days is that it does matter. Not just the horse dance, not just ideas around the ghost dance, not the marketed, saleable plant medicines that now make supplements, right? It's more than that. It's deeper than that. My job as the memory keeper is to protect the memories, and it's the most weighted reason why when I have been suicidal in the past 11 years, I have not killed myself. The other reason is because I don't think these things, beings within my sphere, would allow it, but mostly because I hold the medicine in more ways than one. And the medicines are not mine to hold on to. The medicines are mine to go back home, to go back to soil, to go back to water, to go back to people, to reteach the power of the relationships and how those relationships work within a cosmic idea that we cannot define. There have been 3 opportunities since 2014 for the medicines to be passed on. And unless all things weave these paths back together again, they are lost. One is to a young medicine person who lived in Minot, North Dakota, who I met when I was at Standing Rock. Although he was not there, through other relationships, I met his parents who introduced me to him. And their ethnic background was from the Basque region. And some of what was in here is meant to go to him, or was meant to go to him. And at the time, A, I didn't have that clear understanding, and B, he was not in a physical, mental, emotional space to receive that weight and responsibility. Another was to a young man who had been adopted from Pakistan by an American couple. And this is one where I actually feel like we will circle back to each other or be woven back, because he too was also young. And his mother was hesitant about the whole thing. The third was through a non-accidental encounter with a man from Sierra Leone who just happened to deliver a refrigerator to the place I was staying in Alexandria, Virginia in 2022. And he and his colleague are unloading this monstrosity from a truck. And he and I have this encounter, and although he did not say he believed, I watched his face and his body respond to energies reaching out to him. And we exchanged numbers, and I asked him to please follow up with me, and he did not. So what is from a region from what is now Pakistan, Kashmiri, that region, from Sierra Leone, and from the Basque region are 3 opportunities that have been missed. Again, we may come back to that may be rewoven in together. I don't know. Again, I have a very limited perspective, a very limited line of sight for how this evolves. This, though, is one of the reasons why I work with, when I do the Becoming the Medicine work, I work with a very specific population or populations, and most of them are directly connected to specific diasporas. What was poured into me is not like a couple energies. Not like a couple, not like a couple hundred. It's a couple thousand. So within this body, within this sack of skin, is contained not just the soul of Ingrid Oliphant, but the souls and memories of many who are meant to go home. It's one of the reasons why when I can get to a place I have never been, I know it as home. It's one of the reasons why ancestors from seemingly disparate regions and religions are active in my world. Because what was born through them, I'm going to use Muhammad as an example, who is very much a presence in my world. One of the few present in my world who doesn't demand that I behave in a certain way. He is someone who can recognize the not just similarities between his conversations with Gabriel and Ezekiel and mine, but recognizes the loneliness, the deep call to suicide sometimes, because he's been there and he knows that, unlike a certain other religious figure, that this is my journey, not his, not anyone else's. But Muhammad coming through as the voice of God when he did not happen within a vacuum. It didn't happen within a political vacuum, within a faith vacuum, within other religious and relational backgrounds. Rooted from where he came were, in quotes, pagan ways of worship. What I call the medicine. And the medicine being this loving interrelational movement of love in physical form, in healing physical form. So that is what lives within me. Some of those within me I can identify. It's less than 10 that I can identify. One is the first one in, even before I had the experience in 2014. This happened in 2013 when I was house sitting in Flint Hill, Virginia. And a man that I met as a client, a healing client before he passed, was airborne. And whenever he would come to visit, before we had this unifying experience, what would come through my head in his voice is, I want to be an airborne ranger. I want to live a life of danger. And I'm like, Steve. I won't say his full name because I don't know if his wife is still alive. And she and I lost contact after he died in the spring of 2014. And Steve had a, I won't talk anymore about him. I will say he was my first experience of having spirit talk through my phone. He began talking via text, which was wild. And then that motherfucker moved into me. Now, this experience with one energy, external energy, unifying within me was vastly different than when several thousand was poured into me. In this one, he told me exactly what was happening, and he told me why. And when I said, fuck you, motherfucker, he was like, not your choice. And he came. He is one that I communicate with, and often the communication is not an internal one, it's an external. Now, I do not know if he moves outside of me. I don't know that. I do know that when I ask what DEFCON level I'm at, he's not gonna lie to me. I know that if I am out and about for a walk, and he says don't turn left, I don't turn left. If he says shut up and sit down, hold, I will bitch. I will bitch because I have plans. Hello, I hold. And truth be told, I don't know why I just included him in this, except I think it feels really important to keep pushing back against these barriers of belief and the systemic way in which we define what is spiritual and what is not, what is of God and what is not. Steve is one who will tell me, of course, you're that fucking voice of God. Shut up. Why won't you believe in it? And I'm like, prove it to me if I'm supposed to prove it to the rest of the world, right? So I'm sharing this in addition because one of the students that I work with now, and as they become the medicine, the young person in Western Massachusetts, I need to get to personally. We have worked together for many, many, many months remotely, and remote is, I mean, the power of connection that technology offers us is this amazing way of connection. However, the unfoldings when there is shared physical presence are powerful and are necessary. And as far as I can tell, this young person will be the recipient of some of these memories that are related to East Asia, into, I'll call it East Asia, east toward where what is now Russia used to meet when we were all Pangea and whatnot, used to meet what is now Alaska. That's an idea I have because of how other things have unfolded. But I don't know. I'm not in control of this. I did not make me. I did not make me. If I had made me, I'm not even gonna go there. So for those becoming the medicine, and this one who has become the medicine already, there are many, many other things at play at a perspective that we cannot articulate outside of the basics. Hey, I got a bunch of memories to give back to a bunch of people from around the globe. And right now, I need financial help to get to a person in Western Massachusetts who perhaps may receive some of the medicine that I contain so that they go to Central Asia and reconnect with people for whom these medicines are made. I think, maybe, probably, possibly. But again, my perspective is limited. So I am actively fundraising for between $3,000 and $5,000 to get to Western Massachusetts and stay for 2 to 2.5 weeks, and then to come back, regroup, do the laundry, and rent a car to go to the Navajo res, where I will also probably stay 2 to 2.5 weeks. And I'm going to reiterate in another video why, despite my own shame around asking for financial help, I keep doing it. And I will post that next. I don't have anything else to add. This is me speaking into a void. I don't know what's going to happen from it. But I can't separate the Al-Qaeda spinning plate, the Sinaloa cartel spinning plate, becoming the medicine plate, being the memory keeper plate. Like, all of these things intersect. And because I don't have community around that, I'm trying to explain, even in a compartmentalized way, in like 20 minutes at a time, what my world is like and why it's important no matter how we define it. Okay, bye.